Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation. And for the censors, we always tell you that we stay within community guidelines at the new health conversation. Anything and everything that we share comes from medical studies. It's in the public domain. Everybody can see it. So there's nothing that we're making that's a claim that's unsubstantiated. There's nothing that we're talking about that has not been is available for the general public. We've written 4 best-selling books, some of the top medical doctors in the world. And we have nothing to sell. There's no products, etc. So this is all about education for the masses. So everybody's looking for a solution now for weight loss and health, and we preside the medical evidence, and people can make their own decisions. So I wanted all of the censors to be aware that we're totally within the guidelines, and we respect the guidelines. Wow, lots of people already this morning. Ma and Edgar and Angelus, user 192, and Susie Q. Who else have we got here? Grandpa Mark. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, yeah, stop scrolling. Cynde, the nurse, I coached both these women. She lost 57 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80 years old, lost 90 pounds in 9 months. They both kept it off for 2.5 years. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It wasn't diet and exercise. So what was it? What is it? How did they do it? Well, I think all of you are probably aware that we have a terrible, terrible obesity crisis, not just in the United States, but around the world. And what do we keep doing? We keep applying the same sort of principles: calories in, calories out, diet, exercise, 10,000 steps, go to the gym, drink more water, make it whatever it is. It's a miserable, miserable failure. We've gone in this country from 1964 to 15% of the population overweight or obese. This year it's at 80% overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. This, what you're seeing, and here's the actual magazine. It came out June 9th, the #1 women's magazine in the world. And the cover story, over 50 protein miracle. They also wrote a huge article inside about these 2 women who I coached. Here's the article right here. You can see it, New Protein Miracle Diet. Well, a couple things you need to know. Number one, you don't get on the cover of the #1 women's magazine in the world if this is some kind of a scam or it's not real. Now, one of the reasons they decided to publish this was because it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. There is no other diet weight loss protocol in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. The peer-reviewed studies that are out there were not done. Here's the difference. These researchers who created this from scratch had spent 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people determining why diets don't work and figuring the silver bullet why it does. So they initiated these peer-reviewed human trial studies. So the point is that you're in a position where you can learn. Our job here is to educate you. We don't have anything to sell you. There are no products. This is going to shock you. It's going to be about food. It's going to be about completely 2 new ways of consuming food, not being on a diet. It's so dramatic that most people lose as much weight in 4 days as a month of any diet they've ever been on. In a month's time, people were losing the kind of weight that took a year, and yet they lost no water weight and actually gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass despite not being able to exercise at all. So now what I want to do, I'm going to show you some more of the before and afters, and then I promise I'll spend time going through step by step what did they actually do. Again, I want to say it's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It's totally different. But this is the hope that everybody's been waiting for. This is the absolute hope. And keep in mind, we're researchers. We don't sell you anything. We're educating you. So let's take a look at some of the other people. Now, this young woman here, 21 pounds, 38.75 inches just in 30 days. That's with no exercise. The thing I want you to concentrate, look at her stomach on day 1 and look at her stomach on day 30. How is that even possible with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no anything? Because what you all have to understand is this is big controversy around burning fat. You know, you burn fat on a diet, you burn fat working out. It's a complete lie. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and the fat cells either expand or contract. And the only way you can reduce fat cells is either through liposuction or surgery. She had neither of those. The thing that we're all fighting, that you probably are completely unaware of, is a new medical syndrome that's now being proven. It's called the Detox syndrome. The T for toxicity or toxins. The D for nutritional deficiency is why the body is accumulating these chemicals, because it doesn't have enough nutrition to help the body get rid of the chemicals, causing us to be overweight and stressed. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. And yes, Peter Greenlaw, I'm the person. I did discover this. That's not what's important. Here's what's important. You're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals, whether you know it or not. And as those enter your body, the body first presents them to the liver. Once the liver can't handle them anymore, the body's last line of defense is to take the chemical and stuff it inside your visceral fat. That's throughout her body, but particularly in the abdominal region. That's why you see the swelling in her stomach there on day 1. And then on day 30, it's gone. Why? Because the studies prove that this protocol, first and foremost, was a detox. A real detox. Like they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this is removing chemicals from the body. So the side effects were this tremendous shrinkage in fat. At the same time, they increased their lean muscle mass 6 to 9%. And oh, look at the weight loss. Now I'm going to show you the next woman. This is 37 days, 35 pounds. Look at the change in her body composition, everybody. Look at that. It's almost hard to believe. Excuse me, allergies today. Anyway, look at the change in her body composition. That's with no exercise allowed. They actually wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, the fitness people that come on my podcast, they go nuts and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, etc. But you have to understand, we're researchers. We only give you medical proof. Nothing I'm giving you is a claim. Nothing I'm giving you is an opinion. We don't do that. We've even gone so far as to give you here's a free medical website right above the magazine cover, look in blue, the New Health Conversation. You literally can go there at any point. It's only the medical proof. If you go there, we won't even contact you. But if you do go there and you like what you see, then you'll notice above, free coaching. That's not some gimmick. It's free coaching the whole time through. We got coached. We're facing a pandemic. We're facing the collapse of our whole healthcare system because by 2020, in 4.5 years, they estimate that we're going to be at 86% overweight and overweight and obese in this country. We already have 50% of the people who are overweight that are pre-diabetic. We already had insulin shortages. And what are you going to continue to do? You're going to. I know most of you what you're going to do. You're already hopping off. It's okay. But it's really sad because this is the real solution. This is what everybody's been looking for now for more than 100 years, the solution to weight loss, health, and more importantly, obesity, which is completely out of control. Lots of people joining User 565, Andy, Jessica, Luis, Life and Biz Coach, LaQueen, Claire, Papillon. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's explain to you all why and how this is even possible. Well, one last picture I want to show you. This is actually the daughter of a friend of mine. So it's not Photoshop. I want to ask everybody, is that the same woman? Is it 60 pounds in 3 months? And look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body, look at her abdomen region. That's not Photoshopped. It is the same woman. I know her. She's the daughter of my friend. I'm not going to Photoshop her pictures. We don't need to make things up. Why? Because this is the only protocol in the world backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies in the biggest medical journals in the world. And one of the studies, which was actually done in the Nature's Communication, came out about 8 months ago, had nothing to do with the weight loss. You know what it had to do with? Gut health. A massive increase in gut health as a result of this, because this is first and foremost a detox. Now, why can I say that? Because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this was assisting the body in removing chemicals that we're all storing inside of us, whether you know it or not. Did you all see the thing from about 5-6 weeks ago now, where they're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries? What else do you think we're storing inside of us? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon. That's why we're becoming sicker and sicker at younger and younger ages. Our immune system doesn't know what to do with a herbicide or a pesticide or a chemical. So what the body's doing, it's storing the chemicals inside our fat cells, and that's why people complain to us. It's not just how much weight you weigh, it's how much fat you have in your body. Can anybody put it in the chat? Do you all agree with that? So Kelly Shop, Just Andrews, Guerreros, Cynde, yeah, Mr. Rooster, the New Health Conversation with no spaces, Mrs. Rooster. So that's what she's talking about. There's the free website right there in blue above the magazine article, the New Health Conversation. No spaces. And if you go there It's only the medical proof, and we will not contact you. Be clear. Only way we'll contact you is if you contact us, and it says right there, free coaching. That's not a gimmick. The coaching's free the whole time through because you've never done anything like this before. So let's get into what did they do. So the researchers who invented this, by the way, they have no products. There are no products here. This is food and a completely new way of consuming food developed by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, recognized as the top people for 40 years, 100 studied thousands of people. That's why this is so exciting. It's now got real science. It has medical proof behind it, right? So basically what happens is this. First of all, I'd love for anybody to tell me, does anybody know what the definition, the actual medical definition of a calorie is? Because you're all counting calories in some form or another in any diet you're on. But here's the problem. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. It doesn't care about calories. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories. Here's basic metabolism, how our body works, the biology of the body. The body works on a minimum amount of what? Does anyone know? Nutrition. When you go on a diet and you reduce the quantity of food you're consuming, because that's what a diet is, you're reducing the amount of nutrition. Well, the bad part about that is once the brain senses there's not enough nutrition to run all the organs in your body, including your heart, kidney, liver, your brain, etc., what does it do? It freaks out, the brain goes into starvation mode and prevents you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells and turns to your muscles for fuel. 25 to 40% of what you're losing on any diet, whether you know it or not, is lean muscle mass. As the brain begins to convert your muscles, so your lean muscle mass is going down, it has to slow down your metabolism. It doesn't have a choice. So you don't control that. So the very diet you're going on, I'm going to prove to you, it's making you unhealthy, because the other thing it does when you lose lean muscle, you know what else it slows down? Your own immune system. You're actually making yourself more vulnerable to diseases by going on these diets, counting calories, and losing lean muscle mass. Now, that may shock you. It may make you mad. You may disagree. The science is the science. It's not me. I'm the researcher of the researchers. Yeah, I've written I've been doing this. I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I wrote 4 best-selling books, appeared 20 times on PBS public broadcasting, and did over 1,500 live lectures around the world, including in hospitals and and universities and towns, and they even flew me to China. That didn't mean a damn thing for 22 years until these peer-reviewed human trial studies came out. In the medical world, all of that meant zero because there were no medical peer-reviewed studies. See, a scientific paper, a clinical study, that doesn't count. It's got to be on human beings. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study on human beings. So the researchers said, okay, here's what the problem is. Is it possible that we could give people less food, but find new foods with large amounts of nutrition, regardless, not anything based on the quantities, and certainly hell not based on calories. So they developed a food list. 30% of what she consumed in a month, well, let's put it this way. So whatever she'd spent the month before in food, only 30% she was going to spend this month on foods selected by the researchers. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. And instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. This is really important. You're going to find out that what you eat, when you eat, the timing is going to make all the difference in the world. That's what they discovered, these researchers. So 30% of what she consumed in a month, she bought from her grocery store. The other 70% came from these other researchers, not the researchers who created this. They don't have any products. They're scientists. They don't have a company. They're researchers. But these other researchers have spent 20 years physically going around the world to areas like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America and New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition but small quantities of food, if that makes sense to everybody. Remember, when you're eating food, it's not about calories. It's only about the nutrition in the food you're consuming. So, and the key is you have a minimum amount of nutrition you need in order for the brain to realize there's enough fuel to run all your organs. So the researchers, this was a theory. So 30% of the food she consumed came from a grocery list she took to the grocery store. Again, let me repeat. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, and then the serving sizes. So for example, if it was a protein, they gave them the ounces that they wanted them to consume. And then very specific, like for example, if it was steak or hamburger, it had to be grass-fed and it had to be what's called finished, okay? But you'll learn all that. All that's trust me, that's all good. So now let's talk about the other exotic foods or these exotic foods that came from around the world, had huge amounts of nutrition but small quantities of food. So then, based on these new foods that we're going to give people, they created two completely new ways of consuming food. 5 days a week, now remember, she's going to lose weight. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner, third meal from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods. So 5 days a week, she was eating 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. We'll talk about the pacing in a moment. 2 days a week out of 7, she did something, listen carefully, because you're all going to spin out when I tell you this. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. Those days, no food from the grocery store, only these foods from these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she had 8 feedings a day. 8 times a day she was eating, and no one was hungry. What? Because it was based on nutrition. It wasn't based on the amount of food she was eating. Well, look at the results. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. I mean, I'd love for anybody to just be honest, okay? Put it in there. If you were going to lose 20 pounds, pick any diet, any trainer, any gym, anything you ever heard of, how long would you give yourself? Seriously, anybody, you want to lose 20 pounds, how long would it take you? Now, the key to this, 2 more big things that it did. Number 1, the key to this is maintenance. It's not a question, can you lose the weight? We're going to show you more examples that's a given. That's almost like a throw-in for us. The key is you being able to maintain it for the rest of your life. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That picture you're looking at her there, that's about 8 years old. She's kept the weight up for 8 years. And some of these studies were started back in 2012, and they've monitored, they've followed the people, and they've been able to keep the weight off now for, that would be 13 years. This is like nothing you've ever done before. I understand it. The red flag goes up, the skepticism flag. I get it. But what you have to understand, when you have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, it's irrefutable medical evidence. It's like you're arguing with the wind. No, it doesn't work that way. They've already proven that this is the answer. This is the answer to weight loss and health and obesity. Gone. I mean, look at this, everybody. This young woman, 37 days, 35 pounds. Look at the difference in her body, unless you think we photoshopped it, which we did. I mean, it's almost hard for me to show you these pictures because you get all skeptical because you've never seen anything like this before. Too long been years. You mean, Shirley, since you lost 20 pounds? Is that what you're telling me? So let me ask you something. How excited would you be so Shirley, yeah. How excited would you be if you could lose, you realize that's 5 pounds a week, right? 5 pounds a week, Shirley. How excited would you be about that? And by the way, nobody was allowed to exercise. She actually wore a Fitbit proving she didn't exercise. Why? Because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Not that they're against exercise. Don't hear me say they're against exercise. They didn't let anybody exercise because they wanted to prove what would this do with no exercise. You know what they also found in a month's time? People on this with no exercise, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle and lost no water weight. And certainly losing lean muscle that's what happens on every other diet you've ever been on, all of you. Now, let's take a look at, again, this is the daughter of a friend of mine. I didn't Photoshop this. 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. Do you know most women on this lose a whole dress size in just the first 7 days? Because it's not a diet. It doesn't work like that. You know what it is? It's a detox. Now, why do I say that? Because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. And what we know that we didn't know until 2005, we're storing chemicals in our fat cells. They're called obesogens. They're the chemicals that reside inside of our bodies. I don't know if you all saw this 6 weeks ago. They're now finding microplastic in our brain and in our coronary arteries, along with herbicides and pesticides that we've known about for years and years and years. Now we have the medical proof that this is helping the body remove chemicals. That's why she's shrinking. I'm about to do my shopping online. I have to hold off until you finish. Okay, Cheryl. Don't buy anything yet until I finish, right? But Cheryl, do you think it's the same woman? Please answer, Cheryl. I'm just really curious. I won't be offended, et cetera. But when you just look at that, can you believe it's the same woman? That's what I'm asking you. I'll wait till you tell me. I see a thumbs up there. But I'm just curious. Any of you, do you think it's the same woman or do you think we photoshopped it? No, it looks amazing. Yes, okay. Now let's take a look. Although this is not a woman, this is so amazing. This is an older gentleman, Cheryl. Look, wait till you see this. 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. Look at his stomach. Again, that's the detox. That's the fact that what happens when you put the chemical in the fat cell expands. See, that's why we're all carrying, or most of, not me anymore, but I did. The weight was the weight was inside that fat cell, and that fat cell expanded. That's why so many of you complain. It's not just how much weight you have, but especially around your middle. You're all complaining about that middle section. Why is there so much more fat there? Because the body's trying to protect what? The biggest filters in the body are the liver and the kidneys. It makes sense. Imagine with no exercise. Look at his stomach, how much it went down in 30 days. But look at his blood work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides, 242 to 124. Now, what we've provided for all of you for free is a free medical website right above the picture in blue, the new health conversation. Cheryl, let me know you see that. Any of you, put a yes. Some people said they had hard trouble reading the new health conversation. No spaces. That's the medical website to go to. And guess what's there? Only the medical proof. Guess what happens if you go there? We won't contact you. Only we will contact you. You'll notice right above it in black, it says free coaching. The coaching's free the whole time. There's no gimmicks, no tricks. It's not like you get there and they do the initial consultation, then, oh, we charge you $500 to coach you. Coaching's free, zero. We all got coached. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I didn't even tell you the best part. So 30% of what any of these people consumed, you get a grocery list, you take to the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. So you're buying 30% of what you did last month out of your total food budget, only 30%. If you go on this, you'll be spending at the grocery store. The other 70% of what you'll spend comes from these exotic foods from around the world that these other researchers found in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represented huge amounts of nutrition and smaller quantities of food. That's why this worked. But the 70% that you buy from those researchers, they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. It says right on the website, 100% money back guarantee. That's on the 70% of what you don't buy anything from us. We don't have any products. The researchers, they don't have any products. You're buying food from your grocery store and 70% of the food, and that comes with a 100% money back guarantee. Are they doing that for you for paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, any of these diets? Of course not. They're tricking us. We're accepting a less than lifestyle because counting calories doesn't work. That's not my opinion. I'm going to show you Harvard Medical School, New England Journal of Medicine, Nutrients, the biggest studies in the world are now saying we were wrong. Counting calories is dead, over, finished. It cannot work. You're going against your own human biology by counting calories because your body has no idea what a calorie is. Why are you counting calories? Seriously, why are any of you counting calories? As a matter of fact, how can A1C go down that much in 30 days when it is a measurement? Because that's why this is so revolutionary, Jennifer. What are you talking about? Here's Andy. Look at his A1C. It went from 7.9 to 6.2. But look at his LDL. Went from 120 to 59 in 30 days. I understand you've never seen anything like this. Neither had the researchers. The diabetics in these studies, like Curtis, for example, they were monitored by the medical doctors. Do you know in a month's time, they had to cut their meds by 50% across the board? Same thing with high blood pressure. Look, just because you've never seen this before doesn't mean it's not real. And by the way, you can go see the medical proof in the peer-reviewed human trial studies. You don't have to believe me. Do you know the need for insulin went down 41% in a month? 41%? How about that? But you've got to understand it's backed up by peer-reviewed human trial studies, not some claim. I mean, that's why it's so amazing. Twin Mom, go right here. Twin Mom. Do you see that right above the thing? The New Health Conversation. Do you see that? The New Health Conversation. That's the free website to go to see all the medical proof. And then if you want, scroll down, you get a free coach and they'll go over everything with you for free. The coaching's free the whole time, the entire time. Got it? Shirley, so what do you think so far? Twin Mom, did you get that? Twin Mom, let me know you got the New Health Conversation. Do you all see that? Jennifer, all I can tell you is it's not an opinion on my part. You can go and look at the medical studies yourself and see the A1C went down that much, not just on those two people, but on many more. We've seen it now for years that we've seen blood sugars come down so much, it's just crazy. Well, almost in every case, the doctors have had to cut back people's meds, let's say sometimes in 10 days, but certainly within a couple of weeks, by up to 50%. I mean, it's the most amazing. This is not a diet. That's what I keep trying to tell everybody. And again, they're producing results. Yeah, amazing, Cheryl. I get it. So Jennifer, here's my point, Jennifer. I don't want you to believe me, but you have the opportunity, Jennifer, for free to go, and we won't even contact you. Go see the medical proof. It's there at the New Health Conversation. There's an interview, Jennifer, with the rated number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. And wait till you hear what he says. They'll never recommend any form of traditional diet after 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people of every diet out there. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm claiming that I'm the expert. No, no, no. We're the researchers of the researchers. We're bringing the research to the world. Now, just because it's shocking, just because no one's ever seen this before, it doesn't mean it wasn't possible. They're changing people's lives big time. I mean, these two women, the daughter's 57 years old, she's 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom's 80, she lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both have kept it off for 2.5 years. This is the number one women's magazine in the world. What, you think you get on the cover of that? It's not my protocol. There's no products here. There's no lotions, potions, pills. No, this is food and completely new combinations of how to consume those foods. Totally different, totally new. And backed by these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies in the biggest medical journals in the world, including one of them in Nature Communications, which you might be familiar with, on the gut microbiome. It had nothing to do with the weight loss. Nature Communications is the number one medical journal in the world. What, you think they made this up? I understand it's hard to believe, but how does GPS work? I have no idea, but it sure is great to have. This took them 40 years to figure this out. I mean, when you're looking at an older guy, look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124 in a month. Yes, in 30 days. That's all I can tell you. And the medical proof, I mean, for insulin, the requirement of insulin, the body's requirement for insulin went down 41% in a month. That's unheard of. Unheard of. Never seen before. That's why I tell people all the time, the last reason to do this is to lose weight. Do you know what the number one reason to do it is to deal with this medical syndrome that Jennifer, you, me, every person on the planet has, called TDOS. What's it stand for? T for toxicity, D for deficiency of nutrition, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, that is me. I did discover it. That's not what's important. What's important that we now know we're storing chemicals inside of our fat cells. Not up for debate. We're storing chemicals in our fat cells. And these researchers did, blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving that this was assisting the body in removing chemicals. That's why his stomach shrank so much. Because what our body's doing is we ingest these chemicals, it's stuffing them in the fat cell, and the fat cell expands. See, anybody telling anybody that we burn fat through diet or exercise, lie. We're born with a certain number of fat cells, we die with a certain number of fat cells, and they can expand or contract. Well, they contract if you can take the chemicals. It's like taking the air out of a balloon. That's a good way for lay people to think about this. I understand this is hard for people to wrap their heads around because you're all used to like a pound a week. Yes, you put your in the info in to contact us. Absolutely. And it's free. I want you to understand, Twin Mom, this is 100% free coaching. We don't mess around. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks. It's like, oh, if you want more information, it's another $500. No, 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 no. And all of you, basically, you're going to be buying food. You're going to get a grocery list. 30% of what you're going to buy is from your grocery store, organic foods. But the other 70% you can't buy in your grocery store. These other researchers have spent 20 years. They went around the world, physically went to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, Nepal, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find these foods with nutrients that were huge and nutrients that don't even exist in North America. Jennifer, one of the other things that was so amazing in this, they measured C-reactive protein and interleukin-1, which are the biomarkers for the you lay people that determine inflammation in the body, which we all suffer from. It went down 25% in 30 days. That's never been seen on any diet ever, anywhere, ever. This isn't a diet. It's about maximizing your quality of life, your health potential, really is what it boils down to. The weight loss is like a throw-in. Now, granted, people feel a lot better when they're able to lose weight. I mean, this is the daughter of a friend of mine. 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, arms, look at her body. Now, you can think we photoshopped it, I guess. We didn't Photoshop a darn thing. Why would we have to Photoshop it? My gosh, I have written 4 best-selling books to some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on public broadcasting. I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America and did over 1,500 live lectures around the world, including in hospitals and universities and towns. They even flew me to China. And for 22 of my 22 years, you know what it meant in the medical community? 0. Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial studies until these studies came out starting about 15 months ago. Everything's changed. We got medical doctors and physician assistants and RNs and dietitians. They're swarming to this because no one's ever seen a result like this. Now, you can be as skeptical as you want. But what I would love for anybody to put in the chat, tell me what you think the solution is. When Johns Hopkins Medical School, right here, let me read the latest study. Study predicts obesity apocalypse. By 2030, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. And what do we keep telling people? Calories in, calories out, diet, exercise, 10,000 steps, make a journal, drink more water. It's all nonsense. None of it works. We're getting bigger and bigger and sicker every single year. We're seeing diseases now in kids. Well, imagine 10-year-olds on high blood pressure medication. This is crazy. And yet, what do we keep doing? We keep supporting something that doesn't work, which is calories in, calories out. Nonsense. Nonsense. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. I've been doing this a long time. And on these podcasts now for about a year. I've had 5 people give me the definition of a calorie. You're counting calories. You don't even know what a calorie is. Why are you counting calories? Guess who doesn't count calories, everyone? Your body. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories. You're hungry for nutrition. That's what these researchers proved. Not me, it's on my research. So let's see, who else? Twin Mom, thank you. Cheryl, do you see? So Cheryl, you're clear on where you go to get, if you want, you get a free coach. Okay, so who else would like to ask me a question? So we only have 2 likes, 2. Can we get some people tapping on that screen to get the likes going? What? This is life-changing, not because it's not my information. This is life-changing information. What do you want me to tell you? You want to have makeup, something like these people? They're nice people. I see them on social media. But you're following them. They don't have one shred of medical evidence. Medical doctors and chiropractors, dietitians, and nutritionists, and workout people, and health coaches, and weight loss coaches. They don't have one shred of medical information or proof. Sorry. Why are you following them? Because you don't know what else to do. Well, first, let's see, Rensei82. Let me explain to you what they did first, okay, before I don't want to waste your time. I want to educate you. But what would you say about that picture right there? How would you like if you could lose 20, I'm in too. What do we do to start? Okay, everybody, I promise I'm going to explain it to you right now. Give me a second. I need to take a breath, okay? So the picture you're looking at there, that young woman lost 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise. It's not a diet. So this was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world after 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people. You know what they determined? All diets are a failure because counting calories is the worst thing you could ever possibly do because your body doesn't even know what a calorie is. So the researchers, what they said is, here's what diets are. Here's what diets aren't. Diets aren't about counting calories. What diets are about is the fundamental, the most important thing to all of us to be alive, not calories, but nutrition. So what happens on a diet, you lower the amount of food you're consuming, but by definition, what else you're lowering? The most important thing, nutrition. When your brain figures out there isn't enough nutrition, which runs all your organs and keeps us alive, It freaks out, goes in starvation mode, stops you from using the fuel in your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel, doing two of the most unhealthy things to yourselves you could ever do. One, it slows down your metabolism. Now that you've all experienced that, you lose weight initially on these diets, then it slows down, then it stops. Now you're at a plateau. No matter what you do, you can't lose any more weight. So then you give up, you quit, you gain all the weight back, and you look for a new diet. That's why in 1964, we had 15% of the population overweight and obese. Right now, in 2024, it was 80% overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Does that sound to you like diets are working? And we have more diets than ever. So the research said, wait a minute, we are going to take a different approach. We're going to put together a protocol. We're going to pick foods that have higher levels of nutrition and lower quantities of food. That was their theory. And that's what they did. So they gave her a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that the researchers picked out. And instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. Give me a yes if everybody understands. Not calories, serving sizes, okay? But only 30% of the food she consumed in a month, she bought from her grocery store, from this list, that you would get the list from our coaches. By the way, our coaching's free. The other 70% doesn't come from us, doesn't come from the researchers, it comes from other researchers who'd spent the last 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition and nutrients that don't exist in North America. Okay, so now they have the foods. They have 30% from the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruit, and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. So now, based on that, they created 2 new ways of eating. What? Yes, listen to me. 5 days a week, she had, unheard of on diets, she had 4 meals a day. Started with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. She did that 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing, which is patented. This is patented, okay? 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world, but this time they let her eat 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. See, what the researchers proved, the pacing of when you were eating, what you were eating, in what sequence over what period of time, that made all the difference. Because the body responds, if you can spread the nutrition out, the body works much more efficiently. That's not an opinion on my part. They proved it. Now also understand they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. Do you know people after a month, their hunger came down 41%? In 2 weeks, all their cravings were gone, which makes sense. See, when you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories. You just think it's calories. No. Your body's hungry for nutrition. They proved hunger went down 41% in a month. Look at her. She lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days. But look at her stomach. I'm going to explain that to you in just a second. Look at how much her stomach went down. By the way, no one was allowed to exercise. They actually had to wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Not that the researchers were against exercise, but they wanted to eliminate it as a factor. I get fitness people and all the time go, well, that's impossible. You can't gain lean muscle mass without working out. Yes, you can. And again, so instead of giving me an opinion, which they do, I have 10 peer-reviewed proven trial studies where they prove that they increase their lean muscle 6 to 9% in a month with no exercise. See, we don't give you opinions. We don't give you claims. We give you medical facts. They're in the public domain. You can go and see them. They're actually on the website. You can see the medical studies, okay? Now, 2 of the keys to this, number 1, it's called R2M, race to maintenance. It's not about can you lose the weight. That's a given in this, but it's keeping it off. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's the only reason, 2 big reasons. 1, maintenance, so you can keep the weight off for the rest of your life. We teach you how to do that. But number 2, this is proven to remove chemicals from your body. All of us are storing chemicals in our bodies, whether you know it or not, or whether you believe it. This is amazing. It really is. And I didn't invent it. It's not our research. We're the researchers of the researchers. Now, I have written 4 best-selling books to some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on public broadcasting. I did 1,500 live lectures around the world at universities and hospitals, towns. I even flew me to China. And 2 of my biggest honors, 2 years in a row, they invited me to speak at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world. But the frustrating part is for 22 of my 23 years, despite all of this anecdotal evidence, because that's what it was, right? The medical community, it meant zero. There was nobody taking it seriously until these peer-reviewed human trial studies came out. There is no other program with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Also, these studies were initiated by the researchers who created it, and they don't have any products. Any other study that's being done was not done by the people that originated, whether it's paleo or keto or Mediterranean. It was done by the New England Journal of Medicine or by Nutrients or by the Journal of the American Medical Association. When I show you the results of these diets, you're going to flip out. They're pitiful. They are pitiful. How many of you would be excited about losing 21 pounds? But how about losing it in 30 days with no exercise? And how about if you're, this is great. This is an older gentleman. That's 10 pounds a week, 52.5 inches in 30 days. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124 in 30 days. The reason to do this is not to lose weight. That's a given. That's like, okay, we know you're going to lose weight. It's all these other benefits, like lowering inflammation. They measured it. Inflammation is the underlying cause of every disease out there. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. We're just sharing with you the medical proof, because inflammation, which they measured, came down 25% in 30 days. The medical doctors and researchers looking at this said, we were looking at the data, we can't believe this is real. Can't believe anything like this exists. Even the researchers, when they started this, it was a theory. They didn't know it was going to work. They had a theory that all diets were wrong. The diets were completely wrong, because what you were ignoring when you were counting calories or lowering calories, the body didn't even know it has no idea what a calorie is. Why are you all counting calories? So Maria, I need to lose 20 kilos. Okay, great, Maria. How to lose? Okay, what is it? Okay, I'm going to explain it to you now again. So the people who invented this are the top weight loss researchers in the world, everybody. Just so you understand, rated the #1 nutrition weight loss experts in the world, 40 years, 100 studied, thousands of people. And what they figured out for all of you is why diets fail, because they do. The key was this. This protocol, this protocol had nothing to do with counting calories. Because, see, your body runs on a minimum, not of calories. Hear me. The body doesn't give a damn on what a calorie is and doesn't know what it is. So counting calories is futile on your part. The only thing your body cares about is what's in the food, and that's what? Nutrition. And we all have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order for the body to work. Because the nutrition runs your brain, kidney, liver, heart, all your organs, right? When you go on a diet and you reduce the amount of food, that's what you're doing on every diet. What else are you reducing? Nutrition. When the brain senses not enough nutrition, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and immediately stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel, doing two of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself. Number one, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you lose weight initially on diets, then it slows down to a crawl, then you plateau. And no matter what you do, then you quit, you yo-yo, you gain all the weight back and more, right? You all know that's what's happening. So the researchers said, wait a minute. Oh, the other thing it's doing to you by losing lean muscle mass, I didn't finish my thought. You also slow down your own immune system. By going on a diet, counting calories, losing lean muscle mass, you're making yourself unhealthy. Does that sound great? Does that sound like something you want to do? And all the studies that I'm going to read to you from later prove that on every diet they've ever studied, there's never been long-term success. And 2/3 of people dieting gain more weight than they lost. That's not my opinion. That's medical proof. Now, so the researchers said, okay, we got to do something different here if we can. Can we find foods with higher levels of nutrition and still lower quantities of food? So the theory was, could we give you less food but more nutrition? So the researchers, they picked the foods that you would get, a grocery list, you'd take it to your grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie counts, they gave you serving sizes. Everybody got that? But only 30% of what you would buy at the grocery store that you bought last month, you're not buying 100% of the food. You're only buying 30% of the food based on this list that the researchers put together. Now, the other 70%, which we don't sell you, the researchers don't sell you, other researchers have spent 20 years going around the world to these exotic locations like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition but smaller quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients, right? 30% you'd get from the grocery store, 70%. By the way, I should tell you, the 70% that you buy from these researchers, in the first 30 days, if it doesn't work, you didn't like it, they'll give you all your money back. You'll see if you go to the website, it says 100% money back guarantee. That's not a gimmick. Now, nothing's 100%, but it's so rare when anybody wants a refund. You think she wants a refund after losing 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month? Now, so now they had the two groups of food, right? The 30% from the grocery and 70% from these exotic foods. And then they invented two different ways of eating food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. Listen to me, everybody. 4 times a day she was eating. Breakfast, these exotic foods around the world. Lunch from the grocery store list. Dinner from the grocery store list. And a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. That's called protein pacing. It's actually patented, believe it or not. On those days, the timing of when you're eating was really important, and you'll learn all that, okay? But I'm just giving you I'm trying to go as fast as I can, right? So 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you would be doing what's called intermittent, first time ever this has been tried, intermittent nutritional fasting. So in other words, not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time she ate, you ready for this? 8 times a day. So she was fasting, but with nutrition. Nobody was hungry. We had people 500 pounds, they weren't hungry. And in a month's time, like I said, they measured hunger. It came down 41% in a month. In 2 weeks, people's pretty much all their cravings went away. Well, it makes sense. They weren't craving calories. Once the body had enough nutrition, China went, oh, cool, that's great. We don't need any more. We're full. We're full of what? Nutrition, not full of calories. That's why you're all failing on these diets long term. There's no doubt about it. And then the other critical part about this, for all of you finding out about this for the first time, is maintenance. The picture's 8 or 9 years old. They've kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, if you want to really see the medical proof, is on that website, right above the magazine article, The New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website. If you go there, we won't contact you. Let me repeat that. If you go to that website, you can see it right there, we won't contact you. Why? Because we want you to have the freedom to look at the medical proof without being harassed, because we don't harass you. Our coaches don't sell anything. They're there to educate you. And it says free coaching. That coaching is free the entire time, not just the consultation, all the way through, and then teaching you how to stay on maintenance. I know it sounds good to be true, but it's better than that. I mean, when you look at, like, my friend's daughter, everyone, 60 pounds in 3 months, 60, with no exercise. Now, a lot of people think it's a different woman. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. It's the same woman. It's the same woman. We didn't hire a different model and substitute in there. No, it was my friend's daughter. I mean, you really am going to, I guess you could think anything that we photoshopped it, or we put a different woman in there. But all of you have to understand, you're going on diets that absolutely don't work. So Maria, does that make sense to you? VC or V Carolyn, does that make sense? Do you understand? Or do you want me to go deeper and explain it deeper? But that's basically it. The researchers, they picked the foods and found new ways of consuming the food that resulted. Now, look, let me go back right above the magazine title. Now, why is this important? Because Women's World is the #1 women's magazine in the entire world. This is the June 9th issue. And the 2 women on there, I coached them, a mother and daughter. The daughter, who's a nurse, she's 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. How many of you that need to lose that kind of weight would love to be able to do that? The mom, she's 80. She lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both have kept it off. In August, it'll be 3 years. 3 years they've kept the weight off. This is the cover of the #1. You think you get on the cover of this? It's a scam? Look what they called it, over 50 protein miracle. The magazine, this is not an advertisement. This is a featured news story in the #1 women's magazine in the world. You think they'd take a chance on putting on something on here that wasn't real? What would be their benefit? There's no financial benefit to them. I know it sounds too good to be true to all of you, but it's better than that. Now let's look at some of the evidence why the diets you're on now are going to be, they're doomed for failure. Let's start with Harvard Medical School. Good enough? Harvard Medical School? Stop counting calories. Here's what they said. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard. But let's keep going. Let's look at this other big study. The title, I'm not making this stuff up, everybody. I'm reading from the medical studies, right? Why you shouldn't count calories. This is the title of the study. Our researchers found that the truth is calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. This is top researchers saying this. This is not me. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. They went on to say, counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, 2 factors are known to cause weight gain. What are you doing, everyone? You're clinging to these opinions that these nice people on social media are showing you, or you're seeing it on TV, or seeing it in whatever it might be. But let's now look. This is shocking, I think. This is Medicare finally waking up because they're trying to bring healthcare costs down. This is their study, Medicare's study. Listen, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether calorie restriction or any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What in the world are you doing? You're counting calories, and you're going to lose weight, and you're losing weight in the most unhealthy way you can on the planet versus being able to, look, I know what you're all going to say. How long would it take you to lose 21 pounds? I'll tell you what most people say. Would anybody like to put it in the chat? Tell me how long, any of you, hi Cringe Strawberry, thanks for the heart, I appreciate it. We're only at 558 likes, everybody. I've been on for 51 minutes. Do I suck this morning? I'm not good. I'm used to thousands of likes. This is life-changing information for free, and you can get a free coach, and you don't buy anything from us. There's no products. You're buying food and learning. I mean, unless you don't want to lose 21 pounds in a month. Unless you want to lose a pound a week, maybe, and then gain it all back and more. And make yourself unhealthy in the same breath. I mean, when you look at an older gentleman, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. I see a poor guy now he weighs like, he's a young kid, he weighs like 600 pounds, and he's maybe losing 25 or 30 pounds a month. I'd hate to see what he'd do if he was on this. I mean, look at my friend's daughter, for crying out loud. 60 pounds in 3 months, 60. That's 5 pounds a week for 3 straight months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. You think this is fake? No, it's not. And it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. There's nothing higher in medicine than peer-reviewed human trial studies. People want to argue with me. They're arguing with established science. It's like arguing about gravity. No, we know gravity works. So, what is the plan? I missed the part where the answer is fasting. No, it has nothing to do with keto brand. No. Or, okay, Jimmy, I'm going to explain it to you right now. Okay, so the researchers who invented this had done keto, every diet out there for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. And you know what their conclusion was, Brian? No diet ever worked long term. None. Zero had ever worked long term. And 2/3 of people that went on any diet, I don't care if it was keto, paleo, Mediterranean, they gained more weight than they lost. So what they did, they came up with a new formula, or new approach. Nothing to do with counting calories, because the human body doesn't even know what a calorie is. By the way, any of you would put in the chat, I fixing my pop-up camper, nice gut, and laugh out loud, tap more. Okay, Angelina, keep tapping, everybody. She said her pop-up camper. I love it. So Bran and everybody else, Jiminy, I'm going to explain it to you. So what the researchers figured was this. The problem with diets is really pretty simple. All a diet is a reduction in the consumption of food. But what they're not telling you, when you do that, our body has a minimum amount, not of food it needs, nutrition. When you go on a diet and you lower the amount of food, you're also lowering the amount of nutrition. So the researchers said, we got to reverse this. So they went and found foods. This was their theory. It was a theory at the time that had large amounts of nutrition in smaller quantities of food. So they put a grocery list. Only 30% of what she ate you'd buy from your grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie counts, they give you serving sizes. These are the top nutrition weight loss people in the world. So they were using foods calculating the amount of nutrition, not the amount of calories, okay? But that was only 30% of what she consumed. Here was the key. 70% of the food she consumed came from other researchers who had gone around the world for 20 years to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. And they brought back these nutrients in huge quantities of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the two, what to do. They had what to eat. But then they created new ways of eating based on these new food groups, right? So 5 days a week, you had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods. That was breakfast, no food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store. Dinner, third meal of the day from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. Now, a lot of you are tripping already going, oh my God, you can't have 4 meals a day. Yes, you can. And they proved that you can. And that's called protein pacing, which is actually patented by the U.S. Patent Office. Not me, as I didn't invent it, they did. 2 days a week out of 7, she did something about intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not none of that garbage. It was fasting with nutrition. Well, how the heck did they do that? No food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods, but this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half, because the one thing the researchers proved, we've got it all wrong. It's not like, oh, let's have one big meal and we get all the nutrition. The body, the most efficient way to do it, to lose weight and control your weight and make you feel healthy, is you need to spread the nutrition out over, let's say, 10, 12 hours. That's exactly what they did. Look at the results. 21 pounds, 38 inches in a month. By the way, no one was allowed to exercise, including her. They wore Fitbits to prove look at her stomach. You think that's Photoshop? That was 30 days with by the way, no one was allowed to exercise. Why? Not because the researchers were getting to exercise, but because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, you say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. This is going to change the world. This makes every diet totally obsolete. The food list, I just told you, it's proteins, fats, carbs. That's part of it. The other part, you would buy, first of all, let me explain something to all of you. This is a free website. It's free to go there with the medical proof. We won't contact you if you go there, but you do get free coaching. The coaches would show you, for example, Jiminy, the food list. As a matter of fact, you also would get, this is what the researchers developed for the patients in the studies. And all these yellows here are daily video. This is not just some bunch of food and you do it. No, you're going to be doing something you've never ever done before in your life. And they teach you how to do this free. So as a matter of fact, let me show you even on here. There's parts of it. So you can see right there the recommended food list and also the schedule of what you do. And then these little squares, those are daily videos with the researchers, the top people in the world, explaining to you why this is safe. No, this is not some, if you want, there's plenty of people that are going to sell you an app and sell you recipes. Go for it then. It's nonsense. They have not one shred of medical evidence. We got 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies backing up everything I'm saying, and you get coached for free? Sounds pretty good to me. And so any of you can go to that website, the New Health Conversation, no spaces. If you go there, we will not contact you. Absolutely not. We don't have time. We're so busy coaching people. We let the medical research do the talking. If you like what you see, then scroll down and get a free coach. The other thing that I should tell you, Kay, the 70% of the food you buy from these researchers, they give you 100% money back in the first 30 days. If you don't like it, it didn't work. Let me repeat that. It says right on the website, 100% money back guarantee. Because 30% of what you're going to spend in a month, you're buying from your grocery store. So unless you negotiate with them and they'll give you your money back, you're buying a month's worth of food to start out. That's basically what you're doing. But imagine they're willing to give you all your money back, no questions asked if it doesn't work, and nothing's 100%, of course not. And it's really sad when it doesn't work for someone. That happens. Sometimes it doesn't. But you have no risk. Gee, what diet are you going on where they give you 100% of your money back? Who? Who does that? And you get coached for free. I know it sounds so good to be true, but no, just handing you a list of foods, no, that's not going to do, it's not going to serve you. You need to understand why, how, and that coach is going to be there the whole time. But the other key to this whole thing for all of you is maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Both the mom and daughter, who I coached, the daughter lost 50 pounds in 3 months. She's 57 years old. She's a nurse. Her mom's 80. She lost 90 pounds in 9 months. And in August, it'll be 3 years since they did this. They've kept the weight off for 3 years. I mean, you might think that I'm being a little bit stubborn or whatever you want to say. We're not letting you do it without getting coached. It's unfair to you. It'd be wasting your time, your effort, and your money. Because we've seen what happens when people years ago, there was no coaching. We invented coaching because people were doing it wrong. They were making assumptions. They were trying to compare it to diets. It doesn't work. So what happens when you are insulin? Oh, it was invented, number one, Anna Lynn, by a diabetic chemist more than 25 years ago. Okay, let me show you what happens if you're diabetic. Look at this, Anna Lynn. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days. Insulin, the requirement for insulin, which you've got insulin resistance, it came down 41% in 30 days. It's all backed up by these, it's right in the medical studies, which you get to see if you go to the website. Again, Cage, I'm going to show you, Cage, Jiminy, and everybody else. Here's how you access it. Do you see right above the magazine article, K, let me know, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website that you all can go to. We will not contact you. If you go there and you like what you see, scroll down and you can get a free coach. I mean, free coaching the whole time. And it'll say right on there, 100% money back guarantee on 70% of the food that you would buy in a month to do this. You're buying food. There's no products. There's no lotions, potions, pills, capsules, shots, nothing like that. So there's the website right there above the cover, the New Health Conversation. No spaces. You all can go there for free, see the medical proof, and if you like what you see, scroll down and get a coach. Most of you won't do it, I know, because their skepticism is crazy. Because we're so brainwashed that calories in, calories out, somehow it's going to work. And we've got 80% of America overweight today, and 50% obese, and 50% pre-diabetic. And Johns Hopkins Medical School is study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030 in 4.5 years. 86% of Americans, we believe, will be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Does that sound to you like diets are working? 86% of us are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years? You're all holding on to something that's proven to be false. Counting calories, it doesn't work. So what do we have to do? How much is the nutrition per person per month? You're going to spend about what you spent last month on your total food bill, just to give you an idea. I am yet to receive a reply from the website for free coaching, Sweet D. When did you fill out and let me tell you, Sweet D, it's possible. We're so overwhelmed with people who want to do this. If you have not heard, after you hang up today, fill out the form again, and I'll personally go in there and make sure that you get a coach immediately. But again, I'm sorry, I'm apologizing because there's only so many coaches, okay? We only have so much bandwidth. So if you slip through the cracks, I apologize. How hard is it to get the exotic foods? Jacqueline, they show you how to order them directly from the suppliers. You don't buy from our coaches. We have nothing to sell. We don't have any products. They'll show you all that. That's why the coaching is so important. But before you take the step to get a coach, we want you to see the medical proof, Jacqueline, if that makes sense. That's why the New Health Conversation is so critical to all of you. Because we don't have time to convince or sell you. We want you to be educated. And then if you decide you want to, then you can go for free coaching. And obviously we're being overrun because unfortunately someone filled it out and we weren't able to do it. So how do we access this? How hard does it get through other foods? So what do we have to do? How much is the nutrition per person? I'm yet to receive a reply. How much is the cost per person? Okay. Fragrance. Take whatever you spent last month on food. 30% of what you spent, you'll spend at the grocery store. The other 70% pretty much will pay for these other exotic foods around the world. So you're probably, at worst, depends on how much you would normally spend on food. Most people feel it's either the same or maybe $100 more for an entire month. But look at the results you're going to get. You can't do that with regular food. I mean, diets are miserable failures. I mean, here's Medicare, everyone. Okay, so first of all, someone wants to know, so what do we have to do? Okay. You go to the website, but first let me go through quickly and explain to you what they did, the researchers. They figured out that calorie counting was dead over. They'd done 40 years of studies, 100 studies, thousands of people, and every diet out there, calories in, calories out. None of them ever work long term. The problem was your human body has no idea what a calorie is. Your body works on a minimum, not of calories, everybody, but nutrition. When you go on a diet, a typical traditional diet, you're lowering the amount of food you're consuming, and that triggers the starvation mode in your body where your body will use your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on diets, the yo-yo effect. It also slows down your own immune system, so you're literally making yourself unhealthy by going on a diet by counting calories. So the researchers said, wait a minute, we're going to find foods with higher levels of nutrition and still smaller quantities. So the goal was, can we give her less food but increase nutrition? So here's what would happen. You'd get she got a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, not based on calorie counts, but on serving sizes. So only 30% of whatever she spent last month on food, she'd spend this month at the grocery store with the list developed by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. The other 70% of the food, which doesn't come from us and doesn't come from the researchers, came from other researchers who'd gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to get these exotic foods that had huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients, just like you're going to cook something, right? Then they created 2 new ways of consuming the food based on these new models of the food that people were going to eat. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. You heard me, 4 meals a day. Started with these exotic foods from breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. That's called protein pacing. It's actually patented, okay? 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world, but this time she ate 8 times a day. Nobody gets hungry on this because your body doesn't crave calories. Your body craves nutrition. Now, the other key to it is, look, this is real. She lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days. How many of you would give anything to lose 20 pounds? And I bet you it wouldn't be 30 days. I get anywhere from 3 months to 6 months to a year to lose 20 pounds. That's what we've settled for, this mediocre, horrible, unhealthy way to lose weight, calories in, calories out. Yeah, you can tell I get really passionate about this because it's nonsense. I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books from the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on PBS and 1,500 live lectures around the world at universities and hospitals and towns. I even went to China. And for 22 of my 23 years in the medical world, you know what that meant? 0. What? Yes. Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial studies. Now there's 10 of them that you can see on the website. And we're not there to convince you. We don't have time to do that. We're there to coach you if you want to be coached, if you want to do it. If you don't, that's fine too. You'll get a heck of an education. And I wish you well counting calories, which are going to be miserable failures for all. I mean, they're saying in 4.5 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound like whatever diet you're on thinking about is going to work? They don't work. Do you get it? They do not work. And all of you, it's a free, look at above the article, the new health conversation. It's free to go there and we won't even contact you. We don't have time. Obviously, somebody slipped through the cracks that wants to do it. We're doing the best we can. Our biggest challenge is we only have so many coaches. Everybody now, because everybody that goes to that website, almost 100% of the people, when they go to the website, they want a coach and they want to do it. Because there's no hype there. There's nothing to buy. I've written 4 best-selling books. There's no books to buy. No one's going to contact you. Why wouldn't you go there and check it out? Do you want to know how Cynde lost 50 pounds in 3 months and her mom, 80, dropped 90 pounds in 9 months and they kept it off for almost 3 years now? Or not? Or you want to go on a diet and maybe lose a pound a week? Maybe. Right, but can I only eat blend? No, Panine, you don't know. No. It's nothing like any diet you've ever been on before. Forget that. Yes, exactly, Penny. And do you understand, Penny, where to go above? No, fasting is not good more than 21 hours. Natalie, I'll follow that in a moment. Remember, Natalie, listen to me. This is intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting. You fast more than 22 hours, you know what you're going to lose from that point forward? Lean muscle mass. Period. End of the story. People on this gain, look, this woman right here. She gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass in 30 days with no exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. Fasting, now I know people do it for religious reasons, that's great, but I'm telling you that 40% of what they're losing on any of those things is your lean muscle mass, which slows down your metabolism and slows down your own immune system. By going on diets, whether, I don't care what it is, a fast, whatever, you're losing lean muscle because you don't have any nutrition. It's that simple. It's not complicated. It's just science. Okay, an exotic food. See, don't think of it like lettuce, kale thing. Think of it more of a nutrient. So one of the things we're the most deficient in our food in North America are what are called trace ionic minerals. Now, that's not iron, calcium, magnesium. They're things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and selenium and molybdenum, okay? There's 70 that we need, for example, fragrance. Is that I'm mispronouncing your name. I don't mean to. What's your... Yeah, fragrance freak, okay. The problem is in the best organic food, you're getting 20 out of 70. So it doesn't matter how much you eat, you still get the same 20. The researchers found a source where they had all 70 trace minerals. Another thing that you really need from these exotic foods is what's called prebiotic fiber. Now, you've heard of probiotics, that's the good flora you put in your gut. But a prebiotic fiber is way superior. It actually makes more good flora in your gut. Now, rather than you think that's a marketing claim I'm making, here's a study published in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world, on this protocol, nothing to do with the weight loss. The title was Gut Microbiome Remodeling and Metabolic Profile Improves Drastically in Response to Protein Pacing and Intermittent Nutritional Fasting. So what's happening is the body is making more good flora, and that's the most natural way you could ever increase the good bacteria in your gut. That's just one example. It's not a diet, everybody. I mean, when you look at Curtis, come on, everybody. I know you're all thinking, oh my God, he lost 40 pounds and 52 inches. That's wonderful. No, the best part of, look at his lab work. Someone's even questioning it. How does A1C go from 8.4 to 6.4 and triglycerides 242 to 124? It's in the medical studies. I mean, you can question whatever you want, but when it's in a peer-reviewed human trial study, it's irrefutable medical evidence. It's already been vetted by the top medical doctors and researchers in the world. That's what peer review means. So it's not like the research just submitted to, say, the Nature Communications and then they publish your work. Nature Communications sends it out to other world-class experts who have one job: to discredit what you're trying to prove. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study, just to let you know. This is the real thing, everybody. So anyway, fragrance freak, that's just one of many of the exotic nutrients that aren't available. Well, they're available in North America, but in tiny quantities. Or like I said, 20 minerals, you need 70, but you're getting 20. You understand why you're never full? Because your body only cares about nutrition. And it needs all the nutrients, not 20 out of 70, it needs 70. People weren't hungry on this. They measured their hunger went down 41% in 30 days, despite losing, well, she's kind of the least amount of weight loss. She lost 5 pounds a week. That's average. We see that all the time. That's not even anything unusual. And then the thing is, too, don't think it's short-lived, 30 days. That's the daughter of my friend, 60 pounds, that's 5 pounds a week for 3 straight months. She didn't need to lose any more weight. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. You think that's photoshopped? You can. You can hold on to your skepticism and you can continue on these diets. They'll break your heart because none of them are going to work long term. Study why you shouldn't count calories. Our researchers found that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. So you're on diets right now, and 2/3 are going to weigh more than when you started. That's not an opinion on my part. That's these big studies. I mean, my God, here's Medicare saying the same thing. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether calorie counting was an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. I understand I'm probably making some of you really mad because you're so locked in. I'm doing paleo, I'm doing carnivore, I'm counting calories, I'm doing macro counting. Nonsense. Nonsense. No proof. The proof is none of those diets work long term. This is not a diet. It's the only one in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. See, the influencers are nice people. I see them and they're trying to help you. But if what they had was real, they'd want to have a peer-reviewed human trial medical study. Not a clinical study, not on mice, rats, chimpanzees, chickens, whatever you want to say. No, it's got to be done on human beings. They take a long time. They cost a lot of money. I question if what they had was that good, why don't they have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies? You're all being scammed. You are. How long does the food take to get to New York City? What is the solution? How do we achieve this? Okay, I'm going to explain it all to you again. First of all, before I do that, let me just show for the people that already want to know. The website is right there for all of you, the New Health Conversation. I'm going to explain to you, trust me, Honey and Mecca and all of you. I will explain the solution in a second, but we got people now that want to go farther. The website is right above the magazine article. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. If you go there, we won't contact you. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and get a free coach. It says right there, free coaching. The coaching's free the whole time. They'll show you the grocery list, what you order from the grocery store, and how you get these exotic foods around the world, and then they'll coach you all the way through. So for the other people, okay, how does this work? Or how does it work? So first of all, you need to understand it was invented or created by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. After 4 decades, 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, the conclusion they came to was no diet ever worked long-term for almost anybody, okay? Sadly, 2/3 of the people that they monitored over the course of 40 years, they gained more weight than they lost. And the sad part was that in every case, 25 to 40% of whatever weight anybody lost on any diet was lean muscle mass, which slowed the metabolism down and your immune system and actually was making you unhealthy. So what did they do? They said, we need to do something different after 40 years. And here's what they figured. A diet has nothing to do with counting calories because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. So basically what they did, they came up with new foods that they picked that represented lower amounts of food. That was okay, but it had to have more nutrition. So they picked out 30% of the food you would buy from your grocery store, only 30% of what you spent last month. Okay, keep that in mind. And they give you a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of giving you calorie counts, they give you serving sizes. Because remember, they were concentrated on nutrition, so that's why you're only spending 30% of what you spent last month, which leaves 70% of your food budget to go and get the other part of this. The 70% of the food you consumed came from other researchers that had gone around the world for the last 20 years. They'd gone to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So 30% from your grocery store, you get the list, and 70% you would buy directly from these researchers. And our coaches show you how to do that. You don't buy anything from the coaches, you buy directly from the research. That's why it keeps the price down. There's no middleman, all right? Then, based on these new food groups, they created 2 new ways of consuming food. So her and you and everybody, she was eating 5 days a week. They gave her 4 meals a day. Breakfast was these exotic foods from around the world. No food from the grocery store, none, zero. Lunch, all the food from the grocery store. Meal number 3, dinner with her family, all from the grocery store. And a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods. Now, don't go telling me, oh my God, you're going to gain weight. It's 4 meals a day. No, you're totally wrong. All your theories about diets, all the things you're being taught are completely wrong, okay? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, that's called protein pacing. It's actually patented by the U.S. Patent Office, okay? That's a pretty big deal. 2 days a week, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she was eating 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half, approximately. So what they proved, that the key to everything was pacing, was it didn't matter, it mattered how much nutrition you had, but by spreading it out, in this case over like 10, 12 hours, it was the most efficient way for the body to operate, so the body never dipped and went into something called starvation mode, ever. And they proved it. In a month's time, people's hunger went down 41% in 30 days. I mean, no one's ever seen anything like this before. And blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all plummeted in 30 days. We had diabetics who were monitored by their doctors. Their need for insulin went down 41% in 30 days. Most of the time, the doctors did this. Their patients, they had to cut their meds by 50% in 30 days. It's not a diet. It doesn't work like anything like that. But the other really important thing that you all need to understand is you all suffer from a medical syndrome, including me, called the TDOS syndrome. What does it stand for? The T is for toxins, the D is for nutritional deficiency, causing you to be overweight and stressed. And it's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, that has something to me. I did discover it. That's not what's important. What we now know, what you're doing, what we're doing, we're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals on a daily basis, whether you know it or not. When those enter the body first presents them to the liver, the biggest filter. The livers are so overwhelmed that they can't handle all the chemicals. So the last line of defense for the body is to take that chemical and stuff it inside our visceral fat. Look at her on day 1. There's the evidence of the storage of the chemicals. Most of you complain not about how much weight you have, but especially how much belly fat you have. And the reason that's occurring is because the two biggest filters in your body, the liver and the kidneys, where are they? So the body's literally wrapping them in these fat cells, in housing the toxins, because we don't want the toxins out into our bloodstream, even though some of them get out anyway. So in the studies, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving that this was helping the body remove chemicals from the body. See, the main reason to do this is detox. The side benefit is the weight loss and also the longevity of this. It's really a maintenance program. It's called R2M, race to maintenance. It's not a question, can we get the weight off you? It's just a question. It's then we teach you how to keep it off for the rest of your life. We were all coached. But don't think this is just some, oh, we're going to give you the food list and you're going to figure this out. No, you're not. Because the researchers had figured out, they gave their patients, along every patient had a coach. This called the Blueprint for Success. You can read it there. And all these yellows, I know you can't read them, they're all daily videos from the researchers, who, by the way, don't have any products, they don't sell anything. What's their motivation? They spent 40 years to prove, and they're now credited with solving, cracking the code on obesity. And all of you are out there chasing your tails, counting calories. It'll never, ever work. Like I said, it's never been proven to keep weight off long term. Here's another big study, the science behind why diets don't work, okay? None of this is my opinion, but you might want to know. Our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies showing that counting calories on any diet actually causes weight gain. The more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. So you're going on a diet to gain weight and make yourself unhealthy. I know it probably makes some of you really mad. You don't like me. It's okay. The science doesn't give a damn about me. Your opinion of me is none of my business. What matters at the end of the day is the medical proof. What matters at the end of the day is you can go and satisfy your own curiosity or your own skepticism right there at that website, right above the magazine title in blue, The New Health Conversation. It's free to go there. We won't contact you. If you go there, I promise we will not contact you. And if you like what you see right above, free coaching. You get coached for free the whole time. The whole time. We're pretty serious about this because we got coached. This saved my life as far as I'm concerned 40 years ago. Not 40, sorry, 23 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I kept it off for 23 years. But I had some real health challenges with cholesterol and triglycerides, and in just about 7 weeks, all of that turned from bad to good. And I've kept it that way now for 23 years. So who else? So Mecca, does that make sense? Mecca, is that the solution you wanted? How long does the food take to get to New York City? Actually about New York City, I don't know, I think 3 or 4 days, something like that. Who else would like to ask me a question? By the way, we're at under 2,000 likes. Can we get some more taps on the screen? I've now been going 1 hour and 22 minutes. Do you like the content? Do you not like the content? Now, the other thing I want to share with all of you, I did coach both of these women you're seeing here on the cover of Women's World magazine. The #1 women's magazine in the world came out June 9th, a week ago. As far as I know, it was almost all sold out. Over 50 protein miracle. The daughter, she's 57 years old, she lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months. And in August, it'll be 3 years. 3 years ago, they did this. They've kept the weight off now for 3 years. And the magazine, this is a news story for them. You don't get on the cover of Women's World if what you have is not real. You know what I'm saying? And let me show you, they did a whole article on it. Maybe you can still, I think you can probably get it online, actually. I'm not sure. But look at this, the headline, New Protein Miracle Diet. That's what the magazine's calling it. What are you doing? What diet are you on that you think is going to work long term? Because all the medical evidence says no, when you've even got people like, here, look, Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. Most people, this is Harvard saying this, most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this age-old strategy is totally misguided. Harvard again, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's exactly what these researchers did, and they have nothing to do with Harvard. Do you believe Harvard Medical School or not? They're telling you stop counting calories. And yet, the majority of you are going to go right back to whatever you're doing before you get on this podcast, or you've been on for 5 seconds and you jump off. You're jumping off something that could change the rest of your life. The new health conversation is a movement. It's changing lives, many, many lives. I've been doing this 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books and 20 shows on PBS and 1,500 live lectures around the world. That didn't mean a damn thing for 22 of the 23 years because there were no medical proof until now. Now we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. You can go see the studies on their website. Oh, for those who don't think I'm making this up, I'm going to show you the website, everybody. Look at this. Here's the website. There's nothing to buy there. You'll notice the modules. One is a podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, not me. He'll tell you they'll never recommend to any of their patients ever a traditional diet ever again. He said it would be unethical. Why? He said, why would we put people on diets that we know in 8 weeks, 25 to 40% of what they're losing is lean muscle mass, and they can lose that kind of weight in a week and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle. Do you know lean muscle? You know most women on this lose a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise. I understand the more that I share with you, the more skeptical you become. But I want to show you a real great human interest story. Wait till you see this. How about 200 pounds in about a year? Look at the difference. Where's the loose skin, everybody? Oh, we photoshopped it. The hell we did. We didn't Photoshop anything. Look at that. You think she was happy before, but she's a lot happier now because the limiting factors, and my own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy, and I loved her. I saw fat shaming as the most horrible thing. She'd come home crying. We'd be at the grocery store, and little kids would be whispering about her. I wanted to punch them. I didn't know what to do. And 24 years ago, she called me up one day and she said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend 1 day thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's really cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I really miss my mom. And the reason that I hate diets so much, you can tell I hate them. I do. My mother did about every diet that there ever was. I'm not kidding. She did the grapefruit diet. She did the cabbage soup diet. She went to Weight Watchers. Hell, I'd see her go to Weight Watchers in a whole week. She'd lose 4 ounces, and she'd come home with a blue star and think that was great because we didn't know. We had nothing to judge it by. That's why this particular woman reminds me so much of my mom. My God, if my mom could have ever even lost weight in a week that would have taken her a couple months, it would have given her real hope in her heart. I mean, she would cut diets out of the National Enquirer, for crying out loud. It's really, really sad that sad only in the fact you can go if you want. Do you believe in peer-reviewed human trial medical studies? No drug ever gets approved without a peer. I understand they still make mistakes, but that's the final stop. There's nothing higher in medical investigation than a peer-reviewed human trial medical study. And yet here you are going on all these diets with no proof. They're giving you opinions. And you're all losing weight and gaining it all back and going, you thought it was yourself. No, none of these diets work. Do you get that? None of them. I'm still glad I tripped across this. Great, Angelina. That girl in the picture had surgery to take skin. No. Are you talking about this girl? You talking about that girl, or are you talking about April, the daughter of a friend of mine? No surgery. In one of my books, as a matter of fact, shameless plug for me, this is a huge bestseller. I wrote it in 2010, 15 years ago. I don't know if you can see the picture in here. I can't remember. But anyway, there's a story of the man in here. He weighed 587 pounds, and in 20 months, he lost 387 pounds, no loose skin. Buy my book. You can see the before and after. There you go. This is a shameless plug for me. I understand you'd think that because you're trying to compare this to diets where the majority of what people lose, not the majority, 25 to 40% of whatever the poundage is lean muscle mass. That's why they end up with all the loose skin. I mean, look at Julie. Here's a great example. 35 pounds in 37 days with no exercise. That's with no exercise. Look at her body. You think we photoshopped that? No, Angelina, I don't want you to have to buy the book. The cool news, Angelina, we've given you all the medical proof for free on the medical website. I'm serious. I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to sell you books because I'm not. You always can Google me and you can see, no, I'm not trying to sell you books, so don't that would discredit everything I'm trying to prove to you. I was only pointing the book out because of this gentleman in there, because when she was saying, well, they had surgery for loose skin. No, they didn't. That's an opinion, but it's not a fact, okay? I know, I've been doing this 23 years, and anybody I'm showing you the picture of, I either know them or one of my coaches or one of the coaches, not my coaches, had coached them and filled me in on the stories, right? Okay, what's the website? All right, here's the website for everybody. So, Marky, do you see right above the cover in blue, the new health conversation? Give me a yes if you see it, because sometimes people have trouble reading that. And then right above it in black, easy to read, free coaching. So if you go there, we will not contact you, Marky. Now, understand that, we won't. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you get a free coach, and it's not a gimmick. You get a free coach the whole time. They'll show you the grocery list, they'll show you how to order directly, and then they'll coach you and show you how to do this. Because it's not what you're going to be, well, 50% is what you consume, but the other 50% is this totally new way of consuming food that's producing these kind of results. For example, look at Curtis, everybody. 40 pounds and 52 inches in just 30 days. 40 pounds. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4 and triglycerides from 242 down to 124. Just trying to find that. It's okay, somewhere. So the main thing for all of you, you can go to that website right there, the New Health Conference. It's free to go there. We're not going to contact you. Now, unless you think I'm lying, you could. People get really mad at me. But we're bringing you the truth. It's not even our research. It'd be different if I was promoting something we invented. We didn't invent anything. And there's no products. It's food and a new way of eating. Aren't you curious about producing this kind of a result? Or look at Andy, a younger guy, 45 pounds, 60 inches in a month. Look at his blood work, his A1C from 7.9 to 6.2, LDL 120 to 59. I know the skeptics won't believe it. That's okay. But what we have going for us that nobody else does, that the skeptics stop. You can't refute a peer-reviewed, you can, I guess, but peer-reviewed human trial study, there's nothing higher in medical research. Why are you questioning it? Because you've never seen anything like that before, so it must not be real. That's real. It's not photoshopped. And he's kept it off for 8 years. Now, I'll show you what happens when someone works out, because not like any of these pictures I've showed you so far, no workout. What do you see when someone works out? This is 11 days, someone working out. Where do you see this? Look at day 1. Look at the stomach. Pretty good, pretty good. But 4 days later, on the morning of day 5, and then look at the morning of day 12, 11 days. Look at that transformation in the abdomen stomach region. That's not photoshopped, and he didn't go and buy a fake abs at the store. Now, I kind of know this person. That's my youngest son. He's 42 years old now. In that picture, which was, I think it was like a couple of years ago, whatever, he still looks like that. He lives in Costa Rica, he surfs every day, and he teaches people how to coach. He's the head of all of my coaches. But look at that, 11 days. Come on. You think that's a diet? Look at that. Now, granted, he was exercising, but he was exercising on day 1. So it's not like day 1 he wasn't exercising. He didn't change his exercise routine. He added this to what he was doing. Look at that. So when people say, oh my God, they didn't let anybody exercise? Yeah, because they didn't want it to, but he did, or you can. Of course you can exercise if you want. But in the studies, when you're looking at Kristen, that's without any exercise. She had to wear a Fitbit to prove she wasn't exercising. How cool is that? Yes, it's available for people in Canada. Absolutely, positively. Sunshine. Yes, I am curious. What is it? Okay, so I'm going to explain it to all of you, including you, Sunshine, and Pamela, and let's see, Margie, and I so badly need this in my life. What about premenopause? It does wonderful for premenopause and menopause. We have people with no thyroids. Got it? We have people, we have kids too doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with kidney transplants. We have people with no gallbladders. It's not a diet. It doesn't work like that, right? So let's talk about what did they do? Why does it work? Why is it unique? It's not a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories, because that's the dumbest thing anybody came up with. I'm still waiting for anybody today to give me the definition of a calorie. Why are you counting calories when you don't even know what it is? So the research has said, stop the presses. To create this, they had 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people on every diet you could ever name. When they invented this, it was out of why diets didn't work, because in 40 years of research, they never had a diet where the majority of people didn't gain all their weight back. And when they measured the weight people lost, say they lost 20 pounds or 30 pounds or 40%, 25 to 40% of the actual weight loss was lean muscle. And don't let anybody tell you lose fat. It's just total bull. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and those fat cells can expand or contract. They can accumulate water, which is, you heard this thing, water weight, or what's called edema. But in terms of changing the number of fat cells, never doesn't happen. That's a total lie, okay? So the researchers said we need to see, can we come up with a program where people can eat less food by quantity, but increase nutrition? Sounds pretty simple, wasn't it? The researchers put together foods that you would get, a food list. You would go to your grocery store, whether it's in Canada or the UK or New Zealand or wherever, any place in the world, or Madrid or Paris or the United States or Canada or Mexico. That food list would consist of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that the researchers picked out, not for the amount of calories, but they give you serving sizes. So only 30%. So take whatever number you spent last month on food, and only 30% you're going to spend this month at the grocery store. That leaves 70% of what you spent last month on food that you can put towards these exotic foods around the world, which most people feel are shocked that the foods, 30% from the grocery and the exotic, it's about what they spent last month on food. But these nutrients come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represent huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of food. Now remember, what was the theory? The problem with diets, when you lower all a diet is lowering the amount of food you're consuming, which lowers the amount of nutrition, which then triggers in your brain the starvation mode. It stops you from using the fuel in fat cells and uses your muscles for energy, slowing down your metabolism. So that's what they wanted to avoid. So they picked 30% of the food from the grocery store, the other 70% from these exotic foods around the world, as I just mentioned. Then they created 2 new ways of eating based on these new food groups. 5 days a week, you would have 4 meals a day. You heard me. Starting with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list. Now remember, dinner, the regular foods is still, it's going to be, you're going to get serving sizes, not the amount of calories. So you're going to be eating less food than you've probably eaten before from a bulk, but you're going to get way more nutrition. That's the key. So start with exotic food, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, 4th meal after dinner. Then 2 days a week, she did something that'll be very controversial when I tell you, called intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, you and her would be eating 8 times a day. Did you hear me? 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half, because here's what the other thing they proved. The key to losing weight, maintaining weight, and being the healthiest was to take a lot of nutrition, but spread it out over about 10 or 12 hours. That's why something like this time-restricted eating, where you stop eating at 8 o'clock at night, you don't eat till 12 o'clock the next day, is unbelievably harmful. And the majority, I've got a big study over here in the Journal of American Medical Association. They did a 3-month analysis of this time-restricted eating, but I want to show you how destructive it actually is. So the Journal of American Medical Association 3-month study found that overweight adults who were fasting 16 hours daily in 3 months gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. So you're making yourself terribly unhealthy by doing that, despite what they're trying to tell you. They don't have any proof. They have no medical evidence to back up the claims they're making. That's the problem with all of this stuff. And then we look around America. Go to the beach. I hope some of you are going on vacation this summer. Go to the beach and see what you see. And then look at a picture from like 1970 of a beach. It's like, are we a different species? And I can talk about this. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I lived with that. She wanted a solution desperately. My mom dieted herself to death, to be quite honest with you. I can't prove it, I'm sure. And she called me up 24 years ago and said, I have one really big wish in my life. And I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend 1 day thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom did about every diet there was. I mean, she did the grapefruit diet, she did the cabbage soup diet, she followed what Oprah was talking about, she did Weight Watchers, she did everything. I'd see her lose 20, gain 25 back. She'd lose 25, gain 30 back. I believe she dieted herself to death. That's why I hate diets so much. I'm going to be honest. I hate diets, hate them. And now all the medical proof says that any diet you're going on, 2/3 of you're going to end up weighing more than you do now. Why in the hell, pardon my French, would you continue to do something that is proven medically not to work? Calories in, calories out is debunked. It doesn't work. It's never worked. That's the key long term. So let's see. No, it's not a fiber drink, DM. Do you have to eat these exotic foods forever just until? Oh, great question for DM and also for Vita Sober. The exotic foods actually taste really, really good, but they're not foods like, how can I explain it to you? They're not so much a just something that you would be chewing. Some of them are teas, some of them you make in water. And the exotic food, what I do, the exotic food, I have that's my breakfast every day, and I have 2 normal meals, and then every couple months I do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, not to lose weight, but to detoxify my body. So actually, they actually taste really, really good. You'll probably be shocked at how something that good for you tastes that good. But if you're going to maintain, see, the whole key to this is maintenance. So DM or Vita, the key is maintenance. It's not a question, can you get the weight off? But what good does it do to lose the weight and gain it all back? So by giving your body, nourishing, use that, remember that term, by these huge amounts of nutrition, just 1 meal a day and 2 normal meals, you're going to maintain. I was 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I kept it off for 23 years. That's the only thing you should care about. So the whole idea is to get you to maintenance, and then, because when you're doing this, you're having exotic meal for breakfast, 2 normal meals, and then so you're having 2 servings of the exotic foods. But when you go on maintenance, you can do as little as 1. Although a lot of people still continue and do 2, because again, think about it. If you're putting, you know what the researchers call this? The world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. Why the heck wouldn't you put that in your body at least once a day? That's how simple maintenance is. And we would be lying to you if we said, no, you don't have to. No, you at least 1 meal a day. You want why wouldn't you want to give yourself the best nutrition in the world once a day? Please explain to me why that doesn't make it, why that you're going to logically tell me that makes any sense at all. So Sunshine, do you understand now, Sunshine? I saw needs in my life. What about premenstrual work? Charlene, did I explain that to you? And Margie, do you all understand? And so because I'll go over it again. Please ask me a question. This is live. I'm live. It's 7:16 in Denver, Colorado. It's a beautiful day. I'm looking out the windows. Look, I can see the mountains in the distance. This is not photoshopped. It's not AI, and it's not an infomercial. This is a medical podcast to educate you. Go over just joined. Okay, great. Before I do that, let me come back to you 1 second there. Just joined, I promise. But for the rest of you, including Sunshine and Vita, I just want you to understand that website right above the magazine title in blue, the New Health Conversation, that's where you go for the free medical proof. And we're not going to contact you if you go there. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and get a free coach, and the coaching's free the whole time for all of you. So now I want to come back to, who was it that asked me this? Yes, I'm understanding. Good. Yes, I checked out the website and videos. I'm waiting for my free call. Great, Sunshine. She already went to the website. Okay, so who just joined us? Somebody just joined us. I saw you. Oh, Sunshine. But is this a different Sunshine? Go over, just join. Is there 2 different? I got a Sunshine CA and a Sunshine. Are you different people? Sunshine Day, you're different. So yes, it's a different person. Okay, I've never had 2 Sunshines in the same, like, all right, so anyway, Sunshine, this is what they did. First of all, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. In 40 years, they'd done 100 studies, thousands of people on every diet out there, and came to the conclusion no diet ever worked long term, and 25 to 40% of what you lose on any diet is lean muscle mass. It's not fat. That's a complete lie. You lose no fat on a diet or working out. Your fat cells can either expand or contract, but you don't lose fat cells and you don't burn fat. The problem with diets was really pretty simple. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. The only thing your body cares about, you have a minimum amount of this that makes you be alive, and that is called nutrition. A diet is nothing more than reducing I don't care what the name is, at the end of the day, they're getting you to eat less food, but they never tell you that when you get less food, you're getting less nutrition. And that causes the brain to sense we're starving to death. It stops you from accessing the fuel inside the fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. But more importantly, when you lose lean muscle mass, it also slows down your own immune system. So you're literally making yourself unhealthy by going on these diets. So the researchers said, okay, wait a minute. Is it possible if we picked foods, we did it, the researchers, the top people, we give them less food by quantity, but actually increase nutrition. That was their goal. So they put together a food list that you would get, Sunshine. It consists of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. Nothing to do with calories. They give you serving sizes, but only 30% of the food you bought or consumed last month would come from your grocery store. Only 30%. The other 70%, which doesn't come from us, it doesn't come from the researchers, because the researchers don't have a company, they don't have it, there's no products here, it's food. The other 70% comes from these other researchers who had gone around the world for 20 years to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of quantity. Then, based on these new foods, they created 2 new ways of eating that they'd never been able to do before, where 5 days a week they let her eat 4 times a day. Yep. Started with the exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, based on serving sizes again. Remember, dinner, grocery store, serving sizes. 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. That's called protein pacing. She did it 5 days a week, 4 times a day. So any of you, don't go sideways and tell me, oh my God, you're going to gain weight if you do that. No, you're not. You're wrong. Then 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was literally eating every hour and a half. Now, why did it work? Because they realized it wasn't just about giving the body enough nutrition. It was spacing it. It was a pattern of timing. So she was eating about every hour and a half, which lets the body just about use up the nutrition she had in the first meal in about an hour and a half. Remember, she was only eating these exotic foods from around the world, no food from the grocery store. So she was basically mostly consuming nutrients. And it worked. Look at that. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. So Sunshine, what would you say about this? Oh, good, the TN boy. I'm going to check out the website. I like your mom. I've tried so many. Oh, I'm like your mom, yes. Have had many health complications and surgery, very hard to lose weight. Well, Margie, we got people with no thyroids. You talk about a challenge to lose weight. We have people with no gallbladders. I mean, this is not a diet. That's for all of you. I encourage you to please go to the website. It's free. What to met then? What I'm not quite sure. What to me weight? I don't know what you're asking. So needed this. Thank you. So Sunshine, this is the new Sunshine. Am I correct? Not the old Sunshine, the new Sunshine. Give me a yes. I lost 40 pounds and still had my gut. Now I've gained 25 back so far. Rico, you're proving my point. Rico, look at this guy. Rico, 40 pounds in 30 days, Rico. How long did it take you to lose 40 pounds? Please tell me. I'm just curious, really, because you're going to support the premise here. This is not a diet. No diet could ever do this. So Rico, how long did it take you? How long did it take you to lose 40 pounds? I'm really curious. And of course, you gained 25 back. But do you understand, Rico? It's not your fault. What? What? Rico, look at this guy. 30 days. Rico, which would you rather have done? And he's kept it off for 8 years. Oh my gosh. Congratulations for doing that. Who was diagnosed with congestive heart failure? Yes, exactly, that TN boy. Rico, seriously, Rico, what do you think about that picture? Unless you think I'm lying. Oh, what is the website? Rico, I want to come back to you. Please answer me, Rico. Okay, here's the website, everybody. You see it above the magazine title, The New Health Conversation. Does everybody see that? Phoenix, give me a yes. I want to make sure you can see it. Where is the website? It's right there above the magazine title, The New Health Conversation. Do you see it? Phoenix, give me a yes if you see it. And if you go there, Phoenix, we won't contact you. Just understand that. But you can get free coaching. Once you see the medical proof, you can scroll down and you can get a free coach if you want, and they'll explain everything. We have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. Like I said, we have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with kidney transplants. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, making any medical or preventing any diseases. We're not doing that. All we're doing is sharing with all of you what's in the medical studies. So Shop Phoenix, so you do see the website there, right? And you do understand if you go there, we won't contact you. Okay, does everybody get that? But I want to come back to Rico for just a moment. So Rico, let me find Curtis again. So Rico, what do you, please comment, what do you think about that, Rico? 40.8 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. Would that have excited you? And he's kept it off now for 8 years. To be fair, I wasn't following diet 100%. That's why I took over. Okay, but still, Rico, look at that. What do you think about that? Because even if you've done it perfectly, there's no way, right? I'm from the UK. No problem. Moved to the US, and since being here, I've gained weight even with exercise. Yes, Shop Phoenix, you're proving my point. You're proving my point. But everyone, look at this, an older guy. Look at his stomach, Rico. Look at that. But Rico, look at his blood work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124. Rico, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. Rico, I've kept it off for 23 years. I mean, would you be unhappy if you lost 40 pounds in 2 months? You know what I'm saying? And you could keep it off. Because otherwise, Rico, let me ask you a question. So let's say you're not on this podcast. You weren't on TikTok. You didn't see this. Okay, I don't think you want to keep the 25 pounds you've gained back. So honestly, what would you do? Seriously, Rico, what would you do to try and lose the weight and keep it off long term? What would you do? No, you don't want to do GLP-1s, and let me explain to you. Well, you can. We're not against them. But I have the medical proof. So that TN boy, let me go over, this is the New England Journal of Medicine. You can go look it up. You don't have to believe me, any of you. The New England Journal of Medicine, 68 weeks, everybody. 68 weeks. That's a year and 4 months. This was a study, once weekly semaglutide in adults. That's a GLP-1. So you got Ozempic, you got Trapezyde, you got Wegovy, you got all these GLP-1s, right? This is 68 weeks. I'm reading from the study. The weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass, and we're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics. They're helping people that are morbidly obese. But 32 pounds in 68 weeks, and Curtis loses 40 pounds in a month? If you knew about it, which one would you choose? And this is all natural. It's food. There's no drugs. There's no injections. There's no pills, lotions, potion, pills. Look at this. 4 months, my scales told me most was muscle. You're proving my point, Shop Phoenix. Shop Phoenix, it's like you couldn't go fast enough to this website. Go look at the medical proof. There's an interview, Shop Phoenix, all of you, with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world who conducted 100 studies over 40 years, and they gave up diets and created this. It's free to go there. We're not going to contact you. We shouldn't have to. If the medical proof is everything I'm saying, you'll want to get a free coach. The coaching's free the whole time. It's not a gimmick. I mean, why wouldn't you all go there? The TN boy, definitely this one. I even did semaglutide. My scales told me, okay, my lifestyle, my story, Mongerno. So did you do I'm confused, my lifestyle, my story. Did you do, look, I'm not against the shots. I already told you that, but what does the shot really do, everybody? It slows down the food moving through your digestive tract. You're full longer. Code word, you're eating less food. Code word, you're getting less nutrition. What does it do? It causes your brain to turn your muscles into fuel. They proved it, my God. 32 pounds in 68 weeks and 40% in the study. Lean muscle mass. This isn't my opinion. This is New England Journal of Medicine, and you all can go look at it. It's in the public domain. That's the thing about us. We're totally transparent. Everything we share with you is backed by medical science and medical proof. And on the website, you get to see I'm going to show everybody the website, for crying out loud. There's nothing on there to buy. 1 is the interview, the podcast with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world. 2 is a much more detailed explanation of what they did every day. 3, the actual studies, you can see them. And number 4, before and after, you're going to see people there that lost 100 pounds, no loose skin. Or not, or go on whatever diet you're on right now. Look, this is the cover of Women's World, everybody, the #1 women's magazine in the world. I coach these 2 women, mother and daughter. The daughter, a nurse, 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months. And they both, in August of this year, it'll be 3 years ago they did it. They've kept the weight off for almost 3 years now. It'll be 3 years in August, in 2 months. What are you all doing? Why are you wasting your time counting calories? Do you think somehow it's going to work? You think you're going to defile the medical proof, including Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories? Or Medicare, right here, I've got the big study from Medicare saying Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet was an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. So Rico, did you hear that? I keep freezing on my live? Okay, that's the secret. You can lose, but you need to keep it off. Exactly. I'm definitely going to sign up. Great, Rico. Does everyone see? And thanks for pointing that out. I didn't realize that I was freezing up. We've had internet problems, and again, I'm now at almost 2 hours, and sometimes when it goes a long time, we have it freezing up. Can everybody hear me now? Am I clear? Angelina, I had someone I know who went on a medical weight loss study and ended up with major gallstone. Yeah. Well, all I can tell you is on this, there's 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies backing up. They've been doing it for 23 years, and there's been no problems like that at all. No. Shop Phoenix, you're giving me too much credit. So Angelina, the thing that's different about this is there are 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies backing up. It was invented about 25 years ago by a diabetic chemist. All I can tell you is I did it 23 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I've kept it off for 23 years. So who else would like to ask me a question? We're at 20. Can we get some more taps? Thanks, Alex Sterling, for the heart and the, I'm not sure what the purple thing is. Look, I'm a novice when it comes to TikTok. I've been doing it for a year, but I don't understand all the I know it's good. Thank you. What I'm most concerned about is that you get the information. Angelina, I'm sharing that. Great. What happens when you sign up? Well, what do you mean what happens when you sign up? You don't have to sign up. You've got to understand, you go to the website, there's no sign up. The website's free for you to go look at the medical proof. Then what you're signing up for, you're not signing up for anything. You get to interact with a coach for free who will coach you the whole time for free. So there's nothing to sign up for. I'm sorry if I said sign up, I misspoke. Sometimes my brain gets ahead of my mouth or something. I don't know what it is. So let you know, DM99. The coaches are not there to sell you or convince you. The coaches are there to answer all your questions. Because DM, we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with a kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. All we're doing is educating you what they did in the medical studies and how in the world did, for example, Kristen lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month, or Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days, or April, my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. 60 pounds in 3 months. Does that sound pretty interesting, DM99? Is there any food you're not allowed to eat on this? Let's look at it differently. It's the foods that they listed that were developed, they're a wide range of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, salad dressing, and fruits, vegetables, etc. There's a lot of things on. Well, for example, I'll give you one example, at least initially. Instead of having a white, a typical potato, you can have sweet potatoes. So when it comes to the carbohydrates, they're complex carbohydrates as opposed, you wouldn't want to have white rice, for example. You wouldn't have a white potato. You don't want to have simple carbs. You want to have what are called complex carbs. That's all laid out for you. As a matter of fact, what you would get to let you know, what is the name of the website again? Okay, the website, Everybody, can you see it there, right there above Women's World, the new health conversation, okay? But also for the rest of you in DM, what I wanted to show you was you would get this. This is what the researchers developed, and each one of these are daily videos from the researchers educating you about why it's safe, how you do it. They don't sell anything. They don't have any products. Why would they do this? Because they now credited with cracking the code on obesity, and they said, look, we didn't spend 40 years of our lives trying to come up with a solution and then not show and reinforce how they do it. They're really coaching you more than we are. We're there to give. We were coached, and the coaches really can answer all your questions. We have doctors that are working with us, and physicians assistants, and nurses, and dietitians, and nutritionists, and weight loss, and physical people. I understand you're all struggling with the fact you can't believe something like this exists. But anyway, there's the website. Okay, free coach to talk. Got it. Yes. What is the name of the website? Lainey, I just gave it to you. Lainey, did you hear me explain what they did? How did she do this? If you did, Lainey, it's fine. I just don't want to repeat it again, but I'm willing to repeat it if new people are coming on, because I need to stop in about another 5 or 10 minutes. I'm almost at 2 hours. We have 3,300 likes. Come on, everybody, if you like the content, and also you understand, you can send anybody to the website. They don't have to be on my podcast, but I'd love to get some more taps so everybody can understand what's going on. So, Lainey, did you get a chance to hear what she physically did? How in the world did they produce this all together? Have to get back to work. We'll go to the website. Thanks. Thank you, Margie. That's wonderful. So, Lainey, what do you think about, did you get or did I explain to you, or did you hear me explain what she did to do that? And all the other people, like, how did Julie lose 35 pounds in 37 days? Or my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months doing this. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It has nothing to do with that. And all of you have the free website. So right above where it says Women's World at the top, right above there in blue, it says the new health conversation. That's the free medical website for you to go and see the medical proof. Only then, because we will not contact you. If you go to that website, we're not contacting you. But you can scroll down and get a free coach. You don't have to sign up for anything. You get a free coach and they'll go over all your questions. But most of the questions are answered when you go to that website. And then if you do decide to do it, that coach will coach you the whole time for free. The whole time, not just initially, because this is not about losing the weight. Well, it is, but it's not. It's about keeping it off. It's about maintenance, which they'll teach you. It's called R2M, race to maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I know I'm repeating myself, and I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what should excite you. Oh, Shop Phoenix, great. Cheryl, there was no exercise. Sorry. In the studies, no exercise, but yes, absolutely you can exercise. But again, that's why you have a coach, because they're going to explain to you, for example, when you're doing a 48-hour detox, 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, on those days, you'd want to either don't work out at all or cut maybe in half. But the coach can go over all that with it. Depends how much weight do you need to lose? How are you exercising? What are you doing for exercise? All those questions they'll answer for you for free. So you don't have to figure out anything. So who else would like to ask me a question? So Lainey, apparently you did hear what I said. In DM, you understand now you get a free coach to talk to. You're not signing up for anything. And again, all of you, right above Women's World, you see the new health conversation in blue. Free medical website. We will not contact you if you go to that website. I know it sounds so good to be true, but we only have so much time. We had somebody, unfortunately, this morning that filled out, and we're so busy we didn't get back to that. I think it was a lady, a woman. I can't remember. We got so many people coming on these podcasts now, but we want to help as many people as we can, including you. So, and normally we'll get back to you within a day, at least right now, to answer. Cheryl, you're waiting for your call back, but you just signed up today, right? I mean, I think you just signed up today. So, all right, so let's see. I'm going to stop in, let's see, what time is it? Yeah, I'll stop in about 5 minutes unless somebody else has another question for me. And if you do, I'll stay on and answer it. And then just to let you know, I'm going to come back on, do another live podcast today. Let's see, 10:30, 12:30, 1:30. Let's say 1:30 Eastern time today. I'll do another podcast in case you want to invite friends, or maybe you got on late, or maybe you want to jump back on again, or maybe you want to make fun of me, or whatever it is. It's fine. It's all good. Because again, I'm only about presenting you. Oh, good, Cheryl. we'll see. As soon as I hang up, I'll go and take a look and see, make sure we got your information, okay? But Shirley, have you enjoyed this? Do you feel like you learned a lot? Do you feel like you have at least guardedly optimistic hope? All right. And Cheryl, you understand. Oh, Angelina, everybody, you're all welcome for the information. That's our job, is to make you aware of what's available. How many hours is that? Shirley, what do you mean? How many hours is that? What? I'm sorry. Oh, from now you mean? Well, let's see. It's 9:30 on the East Coast right now. So if it was, let's see. So what did I say? I said 2:30. So it's 9:30, 12:30. So that's 5 hours from now, whatever time zone you're in. So if you're in England or you're in some other place in the world, so let's say 5 hours from now, from this time right now. Okay? Is that right? Let's see, 5 hours would be 12:30. Oh, no, no, it's less than that. It's good morning. How do I get more on this lifestyle change? So Jenny, do you see the Woman's World right there? Do you see the logo in the corner of the magazine? And then right above it in blue, the New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website for you to go. We will not contact you. It's got all the information that you would need. And then if you like what you see, scroll down. You're not signing up for anything. You get a free coach that will answer all your additional questions, and they'll coach you the entire time for free. No gimmicks, no tricks. You don't buy anything from us. Essentially, 30% of the food you'd buy is from your grocery store. You get a list from the researchers who created this, and 70% you're going to buy directly from these other researchers who went around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition that you can't buy even at Whole Foods. It doesn't exist. And then you get coached on how to do it for free. So whatever you spent last month, that's about what you're going to spend on food this month. 30% from your grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Maybe a little bit more. Some people say maybe they're spending $100 more a month. But my God, look at the difference. Look at this. How about 21 pounds, 38 inches in just 30 days? So Jeannie, what do you think about that? Is it, Janine, maybe, is it Janine? I don't want to mispronounce your name because there's too many names. Okay. Yeah. So you did see that website there. You can see it in blue. Give me a yes that you see that. Okay, great. So that website is free. Write it down because I'm going to sign off here in about a minute. I want to make sure everybody has the website. The New Health Conversation. It's a movement. We'd love for all of you to join us. We believe that we're taking, and we're going to change the world one person at a time. It starts with you. It's like you get on the airplane and the flight attendant says, if there's a sudden depressurization, put your mask on first. Well, we're the flight attendants telling you, put your mask on first. All right, everybody, I'm going to end this now. And like I said, I'll be coming on again. Let's see. So that would be 11:30 is, so that's about 4 hours from now. I'm coming back on in about 4 hours. There you go. From now, I said 5 hours. I was wrong. 4 hours from now, in case you're in the UK or in Europe, in Madrid, or because there's places in the world where this is available. There's places in the world with this, like it's not available in South America, for example. It's available in Mexico. It's available in Canada. Not from us because we don't ship it. We have nothing. We don't sell anything. But these suppliers where they're able to ship to. Okay. All right, everybody, I'm going to end now, and everybody have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon, or it's tomorrow for a lot of people as well, okay? And for those that would invite other people to come back, like I said, figure about 4 hours from now at like 1:30 Eastern time today, okay? Bye, everybody.